Hi, I'm Tom, and I've always had a passion for cheap, fast sailing boats and making them better. This is my 2007 Foiling Moth that I recently purchased off Facebook Marketplace for just $100. In this series, we're going to finish off the boat, get it out on the water, and then find out how fast you can go, how much fun you can have, and if you're even competitive on a boat that costs just $100. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about the delay between videos. I've been battling another cold. So the first thing I needed to do to progress this project was glue in these carbon plates that the previous owner kindly supplied with the boat. So after a little bit of encouragement with my super cheap Bunnings hacksaw and then some quick work with the drill, I was able to get them to fit nicely. And then since they're going to have Dyneema going through them, I was pretty careful to make sure there was no sharp edges. Then I was just able to lash some little lashing blocks on using some 2.5mm Dyneema. Of course, it started pouring rain, so that forced me back inside, and that's what I ended up with. Okay, so it's Wednesday night now. I'm just going to quickly splice the 4 blocks onto the other side. So this will be the port side, little control pad thing. Then if I can get it all to dry enough, I should be able to just epoxy that on. No, and go and put these on the boat. So I had some of this $2.65 Bunnings 2-part epoxy stuff kicking around. It's all right, but it's not as good as like the genuine Araldite because it takes a fair while to go off, which made this a bit of a nightmare. And I was trying to sort of hold those plates right in that recess so they weren't like sitting up at all. So I had to run from one side to the other for about half an hour to get the epoxy to dry, even though I tried to tape them in as well. Okay, so it's Friday night now. I'm finally going to get onto these spreaders and then we can get the mast up and start doing some more permanent stuff. So basically what I need to do is, remember a few episodes ago I added these extensions onto my old Mac 2 spreaders. Then I've 3D printed these little bushes, which are going to go about here and here. So I'll probably just kind of super glue them on and then just quickly sand them back so they're smooth. And then I've got this bit of carbon tube, which is going to go over my 3D printed bushes. And then in the end of the carbon tube about here will be my custom little 3D printed spreader tips, which are designed to take the Dyneema with a cover over it for chafe. So I've allowed a bit of extra width in that fork fitting there. And then those will go in there. So I need to super glue these on, cut my 150mm bits of tube, and then start drilling the holes. So we'll get into it. So it turned out that super glue just doesn't stick to the 3D prints very well. So back to the $2.65 epoxy, which saved the day. This time it didn't matter that it took half an hour to dry. So always keep a tube of that stuff around, even though it's not the best. It still definitely does the job, and it did this job of holding the bushes on just fine. So it's finally time to cut my spreader extensions to the 150mm length required. For some reason I sort of procrastinated over this for a couple of days, but nothing too serious. It was pretty easy. Just tidied them up again, don't want any sharp spots to tear my sails, so I made sure they were nice and smooth. And then I probably went a bit tight on the tolerances with these because they were a bit tricky to get in. But thanks to my Sally's Easy Guide that I use on everything, eventually they just slid straight in. So these holes are going to be used to lash the stays onto the spreader ends to keep the spreaders level. I probably went one size too big on the drill on this last hole, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully I haven't taken off too much material. Again, big emphasis on making everything smooth. So next it was time to do something a bit more exciting and get the mast up and start working on the stays. So put my chain plates back on, and then I thought I'll get a nice neat shackle that'll go on the front on that little pin. Of course it didn't fit, so then I had to come up with a new plan. So instead I got a bit of 4mm Dyneema and a dog bone and made a massive soft shackle. I've never actually really made one using a dog bone before. Normally I use like the plastic bubbles or a knot. So I had to kind of learn how to do this, but I was pretty happy with how it came out. It is definitely sort of oversized for the job, but in my old age, I've kind of matured a bit and stopped pushing things as much. When I was kind of 18 and sailing A classes or whatever, I was notorious for always making things out of rope that was too small and stuff, and then I'd break things and lose races and just generally miss out on a good time out on the water. So now I've tried to make things stronger so they don't break, even if it is a little bit heavier. And then I had to put in these stainless pins for the hiking straps. That wasn't really worth filming. And then I quickly sanded off those spreader extensions, whacked a bit more Sally's Easy Glide on there, and slid those carbon tubes in, and I was pretty happy with how it came up. So I quickly made these temporary stays out of 3mm double braid to try and get the lengths right, just so I can make the Dyneema ones without wasting too much rope and stuffing stuff up. Someone in the comments gave me a useful tip a while back about the rake that everyone's running. He's adamant, as a few other people, that the more rake you put in, the faster you go. So I think he said everyone was running like 8 to 9 degrees, and I assume that's relative to the waterline maybe. So I got my little angle meter that I use for the foils, and then just tried to get a rough idea of where I'm at. I haven't locked that in yet, but I'll try and hit that kind of 8 degree number if that's like the consensus with everyone. Okay, so it's Saturday now, absolutely freezing. Big cold front came through overnight, but that's why I sort of pushed so hard to get all this sort of ready to go today. So I've marked, it's a bit hard to see, but I've marked the stays where I need to make the loops in the proper Dyneema ones. I've got my proper heat treated SK99 Dyneema for the stays. So I think most people run 2.5mm, but I went with 3 just because it's so much stronger. I think this stuff's like 1.4 ton or something braking load. So I've never actually made standing rigging out of Dyneema before. Normally I just get wire ones like everyone else, but I thought I'll try and take advantage of the weight saving and the extra strength and all the benefits of this, and the fact I can do it myself. Basically, I've sort of got all the information I know from a Sailing Anarchy post by Julian Bethwaite that I'll put on the screen now. He sort of did a fair bit of experiments for his 89er where he sort of pre-stretched it and figured out how much you need to load it up and so on to get all the initial creep out of it, because when you splice it, it'll kind of be set at a length, but then you load it up and it all moves around as it all sort of beds in. So those people that have been watching the channel for a while will remember that on my old boat I had this system on the vang with like 2 low friction rings. And then I used to have to lash a bit of 1.7mm rope between the two low friction rings, and normally with my brother hanging off the end of the boom as well. And that would give me enough leech tension to sort of go out with, and then I'd pull the vang on from there. So I was starting with the vang like cranked on, and then I'd crank it on more from there. But it was so fiddly, always doing up this tiny little bit of rope. So I thought I'd try and use one of those clam cleat aero cleats, and just have a little 4-to-1 purchase system there. I'm hoping that the cleat's strong enough. I did see they recently released like an all alloy version, so if I do break the plastic base bit, at least I'll be able to get something that might work. But if I can get that to work, and that might cut maybe 3 minutes out of my rigging and de-rigging time, that'll make my day at the yacht club a lot more enjoyable. So the actual vang itself, I think it's just like a standard 48-to-1 system. I don't believe it's anything special. Just sort of what I've been using on my last couple of boats, so I thought I'll just keep doing that. This time I've changed to have a block down the bottom connected to that sort of bit of green and grey control line that goes around the mast base instead of a low friction ring, because I'm told that makes the whole thing a bit smoother. So this is essentially 6-to-1 times 2, which is 12-to-1 times 2, which is 24-to-1 times 2, which is 48-to-1. So very powerful, but doesn't get a whole lot of travel, which is why I've got to have that purchase system initially so that I can get enough on when I'm sailing. So initially I was going to put the Cunningham sort of up the back of the mast stump like my old boat, but then I realised what's the point of having a nice aerodynamic boat if you're going to just chuck an anchor out the side of it by putting the Cunningham up there. So I put a fair bit of time into getting the Cunningham to go inside the boat, just with a nice little 2-to-1 system sort of on the back of the mast stump, and then I got the rest of the purchase inside the hull. This was a bit fiddly. I had to be really careful to make sure that I'm not going to foul the top of the centerboard and the bell crank and stuff that controls the foils. So I used tiny little low friction rings to kind of bounce stuff over to one side. So hopefully there'll be kind of a nice clean void above the top of the centerboard, and everything just kind of stays to the port side of the hull.
Driving around, singing songs way too loud because we wanna. Picking up all our friends, fill up the car till it bends because we wanna. Yeah, we just wanna have fun. The trunk's full of wine. We're gonna stay up, have the time of our lives. The night is.
So I think that'll do for this video. Thanks to everyone that's messaged me and so on. I had a lot of messages from kids that sail RS Fevers in the Netherlands and all sorts of places, which is just crazy that there's people that watch this stuff from the other side of the world. But I'll keep chipping away, try and finish this boat because I really want to sail it. And please like and subscribe and send it to any friends you think might be interested. And I'll be back soon.